Hi, I'm Gina, and I'm going to tell you how one man's life was changed forever.
Hi, I'm Chris, and I'm going to tell you about the man who knew more about the future than Nostradamus, Doc Brown, and Marty McFly combined.
And I'm Chelsea, and we're going to talk music leaks.
What do all of these things have to do with the word future? Find out in this week's episode of History Bluffs. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of History Bluffs. It's where truth is stranger than fiction. I want to welcome your host for this episode. It's the man, Carlo.
Hey, everybody. We're coming live here straight from the internet. America's favorite midweek history-themed game show, History Bluff. Thanks for joining us here today. I am Carlos, your host for today. And the other voice, the ghost voice you just heard, was Adam. How you doing, Adam?
Hey, doing good out here. It's hot in the tech booth.
Oh,
Let me tell
is
you.
it hot in the tech booth? Well, I'm in Chicago, Adam, and there's golden skies of smoke death
Ooh.
from Canada, making it
Oh.
hard for us to breathe. But I'm sorry, the temperature slightly raised in your Florida house. What a surprise!
I'll take the heat and humidity over the choking Canadian fire expunging.
Yes. You have to wear a mask there in your
Man.
house because I have to wear
It's
one
rough.
when I go outside.
Man. Well, with this all going on, everybody needs a midweek laugh, so let's take it away.
All right, let's take it. Let's bring it down. We're
much
de-escalating.
pressure.
We're de-escalating. Here we
D.
go. Smoothing it
D.
out. Okay. Let's talk about the show, Adam. As you know, three armchair historians will be given a single topic. They will tell you a story from history about that topic. Now, two of them will be telling you a factual story that really happened, but one of them will be making the whole thing up. What?
No way.
And today it's crazy reverse upside down backwards forwards day because today on History Bluffs, we're actually going to be talking about the future.
Whoa. The future?
Isn't that right, future boy? Now, before we get started with the game, let's meet our historians, get to know a little bit about them. Let's start with Gina. Gina Bobina, Banana Bobina.
What's up, Carlos and future man? How are you
Where
guys?
are you coming to us from today?
I'm coming from my office.
All right,
there
yeah,
you go.
office, keeping it vague. I like it. I love it.
Yeah,
Gina,
you can't find me.
were I to give you a DeLorean, a TARDIS, a phone booth, or any other kind of time travel device, what event in the future, it only goes forward, what
Okay.
event in the future would you want to go see?
Okay. Oh, okay. So it can be anything. And this is going to sound cliche, but it's not cliche. Can I explain my answer?
Briefly.
Okay.
Okay, briefly. So I would like to see when Jesus comes back, and probably because I don't care what you believe in religion. I believe in God. I mean, I do care. You can do whatever you want, though. But the reason I want, and then I have a very unique set of God rules that are different than most churches, and I have a different relationship with him. But in terms of Jesus coming back, I have questions, and so when he gets there, I want to know: are we doing baby Jesus or adult Jesus? I really want the adult one, so that I can ask questions such as, why do Oreos taste so good? Where did that sock go when I was 5 years old? Things like
Good
that. Like, I want to know.
These are your
questions.
questions for our Lord
Well, I have
and Savior
more,
Jesus
but-
Christ. No,
Well, it
those are the
depends.
first two.
I'd like to
First
know how
things
many we
first,
get
why are
and how much
Oreos
time
so
I get
good,
with him.
Jesus?
But
That's
that,
number one.
well, number one, I was my very first question to God when I was little. I asked my mom and she said, "Just you'll be able to ask God when you go up to heaven." I really latched onto that. So if he comes back, it makes sense.
Unless he's a baby, then he can't answer.
Oh. He doesn't
Gotta
like the Oreo
wait.
question. Not
Oh,
good.
That was
going to be equipped to deal with end times. I hope that when Jesus returns, he's adult Jesus.
Could be senior
'Cause
Jesus.
I think it's
He
going
said,
to
we
be
have to
a
wait.
fight.
Yeah.
He's Benjamin Button.
That's what I read. That's what I
He's
read.
99 and senile.
All
The first
right.
5 years are like, I don't think it's going to be a lot of mumble.
Okay. Now that I've given you half of the showtime, Gina, Chris,
Yes.
same question, shorter
Oh.
amount of time to answer. If
Yes,
I give you a time machine, you could go see any event, anything in the future, where would you go to? What would you see?
I would actually go to my own wake.
Ooh.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
going to change my answer.
Nope, too late.
No.
Chris's wake.
Because I would like to see who comes, who thinks I was a nice guy, who didn't come, who thought I was a schmuck, and that would kind of help me prepare to be better to some people and not be as nice to some people as I go forward in the rest of my life.
Oh,
Nice.
that's nice. That's good.
You know what? Same answer, but only to record it and then start suing fools for slander.
Oh, there you go.
I got you on tape now, sucker.
Yeah, plan.
Chelsea, same question. I give you a time machine. Where would you go? What would you see? What would you do?
She says she'll never perform again, but Britney Jean Spears loves performing. Take me backstage in front row to that
All right,
concert.
Britney
That's where we're
Jean,
going.
the final tour. Maybe she's doing it with Christina. Who knows?
Oh God, no!
Oh.
Come on.
Well, now you know your mission. Your mission is to get in the time machine to stop that duet.
Wow.
I'm going to do it
Right.
with Jesus when Jesus comes back.
Yeah, what if she sings with? What if it's only Jesus will only come back if Britney and Christina go to concert?
I was gonna
Then
say
what?
Jesus coming back as a baby is probably more likely than them two partnering up on.
Wow.
Oh, baby, baby.
Oh, no. Oh,
They would be
man.
singing around the baby, and that would surely be the sign of end times.
It would.
Okay, guys.
That's good.
You know what? Hey,
What?
Can
everyone.
Jesus sing? I wonder.
Oh, we're
Gotta
moving
wonder.
on. This train's leaving the station.
Okay.
And speaking of trains, this has nothing to do with trains, but I have a surprise for all of you.
Oh.
Speaking
Oh.
of Jesus, actually, today ye will be judged. We
What?
have a judge coming in. Let's introduce Kim, our judge.
Oh, let's bring it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Kimberly.
Could I have an earth-shattering godlike kaboom for me?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, of course, sure.
Yeah.
It's Kimberly.
Boom. As the show progresses, you all will not only judge each other, but you shall also be judged. Kimberly will also come in if we have any, rules. We have no rules, but let's say we make up rules as we go, and Kimberly will be the final say on how the point system, which we do not use, will be distributed. Okay? So we're still figuring out whether Kimberly goes from office to office here at History Bluffs Inc. as we figure out what her role is, but as far as you're concerned, she's the judge and the
right.
jury, not the executioner, because we don't have
we
the
love
budget
it.
for that. Okay.
Wait, we don't know the budget for execution.
Kim, before we move forward, what's your answer to the future travel question? Where would you go? What would you see or do?
I'm really looking forward to America voting in its first female president, and I'm going to be there highly decorated.
Nice. It could be
Nice.
Britney Spears.
Yeah.
Then she could order Christina Aguilera. Never mind.
Singing my favorite music.
See, that's why Kim is the judge and you three are not. And she's like, I want to see the first female president inaugurated. You're like, I want to see
Way to make
Britney
us all
again.
look
Or,
bad,
I want to go to my
Kimberly.
own way.
There it is.
I mean, the Jesus thing is, that's probably the only one that's as good or better. Okay, fine. I'll give that to you, Gina.
But
5
for the
points
reasons?
Gina.
I think
Oh,
other
5
people want to meet
points.
Jesus for very different reasons.
We're moving on.
All right.
The train's left the station. The
Train's
Brightline
left.
has left the station. It's on its way back to Miami. Here we go. Okay, but before we introduce you all, thank you very much. Adam,
Yep.
you already told us our topic. You want to tell us one more
did.
time?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Our topic is future. Let me bring that up. I've got a banner for that too. For those watching, don't forget this is both a video and an audio podcast. So some people listen, but if you can see, then now you see the future.
Ooh, all right. That's a very nice icon. Okay, now the historians, everyone at home, listen up. Listen up. Take a knee. The historians were given this topic prior to the show, not too far prior though, but they've had a little bit of time to do a little bit of research and give us a very half-butted breakdown of something within this topic, a historical thing about the future. It's going to blow all our minds. Okay, they had time to craft their stories for tonight through either research or bluffs and fantasies. We don't know. It's up to you to figure that out. Now, here are the rules, and let's bring them up on screen. Let's bring up the rules.
Oh,
There
let's
are
do it.
guidelines.
Let's
There
do it.
are
Hold on. I got some rules. Bring up the rules card. If you can see them, there they are. If you can't
All
see,
right.
Carlos is going to tell you.
I'm going to tell you right now, the historian rules. The historians are inspired by the topic. Tonight's topic is future. True stories are factual. Bluff stories are, for the most part, fictional. Now, what does this mean? The true stories are going to be mostly factual. Our historians tend to have a little fun with how they felt some of the characters felt at the time. They elaborate a bit. For the most part, it's factual information. And our bluffer, for the most part, it's fictional, it's fantasy, but they may mix in a little bit of the truth in their bluff in order to make it seem more legitimate. But it's like 95% bluff, okay? And no audience help is allowed. If you guys know for sure that someone is telling the truth, or for sure that someone is bluffing at home, please don't spoil it for everyone else. Please don't go on Google and try to verify that. That takes the fun out of it. Just, base it on their presentations. And then we're going to give you a chance at the end of the show to make your own guesses. And, if you get it right, you'll get a pat on the back, a virtual pat on the back from us. Okay? Now, if you guess right at home, then you're the winner. What do you win? Again, a pat on the back. If our contestants figure out who the bluff is, whether they win, also a pat on the. We don't have no budget for anything but pats on the back. Okay.
We do have a budget for, Carlos. The Round Tracker 9000.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Look at this bad boy. Okay.
There it is. We love the Round Tracker.
Round. Each contestant will go every round once, but the time will go down from round to round. Each contestant will start with 90 seconds in the first round, 60 seconds in the second round, or
that's right.
75 in the first.
75, then 60.
75 in the first, 60 in the second, 45 in the third. They will have 3 chances to tell their complete historical story, okay? And after every round, they will all be able to say if they think that their fellow contestants are the bluffers or the truthers. And we'll also hear from our judge, etc., etc. You'll see how it works as we play, baby. Let's get
smooth.
This party on the road, Adam. Let's go.
Let's go to round number 1. Round 1. It's a good place.
All right, we're in
Here we
round
are.
1, and we're going to be starting off with Gina because she's at the top of the thing over here. Gina,
Oh, yeah, of
you're going to have
course.
75 seconds. When you hear the gong, you may begin, and when the time is up, you may end. Okay,
All right.
Gina, I'm looking at you.
Let's get her down
right.
here.
All right, so the topic is future. Gina, when you hear the gong,
Yes.
go.
Okay. There was a gentleman named Sandy Greenberg, and in 1961, he began to go blind. He was a student at Columbia University, and one of his classmates, who he knew from high school, noticed that he was withdrawing from activities and he was becoming less social, and he was not really participating. And then he went home to go back to his family, which I believe was in New York. And when he left, his friend was still at Columbia, and he realized he wasn't coming back. He realized Sandy wasn't coming back. So the friend at Columbia just kept on writing letters and making phone calls to the house, but no reply, no reply. His friend, the blind guy, the recently blind guy, was just becoming more and more withdrawn. So the man left school on a break, flew to their old hometown, knocked on the door, and said, "Hello, I'd like to help you." He found, he was like, "You have withdrawn from everything. I've known you since you were a kid, and I don't think that this is cool." So he went all the way there, and he began to help this man learn how to live as a blind person. And I will tell you more, and also reveal who that person was who helped Sandy Greenberg in the next round.
Oh, intriguing. How does it connect to the future? I guess we'll find out in round 2. But for now, let's find out what our other historians think of Gina's tale so far. Chris, what do you think of Gina's tale?
Well, I think that Gina was very poignant in giving the name Sandy Greenberg. In 1961, he started going blind. He went to Columbia, and then suddenly just dropped all detail. It became like his friend, the blind guy, their hometown, as if she ran out of the details that she thought up for her bluff and was just kind of like filling some time to think of some other ones that we're going to hear in round number 2.
Wow.
Interesting.
Wow.
So Chris is
Rude.
suggesting it might be a tall tale. Chelsea, how's about you?
Just thinking about college, going to Columbia, getting accepted into Columbia, and then having a friend also get accepted, go there from high school. Sounds like they're in classes together. It's a little, how realistic is that statistically?
Okay.
And scathing indictment on our collegiate system from
Evening, I
Chelsea.
call it rude.
Oh boy! Oh, shots fired. Kimberly, what do you think of either Gina's tale or the criticisms by her fellow historians?
I kind of disagree with Chris. I think that the detail gives it some more validity, and you can't go on and on saying someone's name forever. That's just gonna get really redundant. So I like a little bit of legitimacy to that. However, the whole we're
Uh-oh.
really good friends, and I'm just gonna have something terrible happen to me and abruptly not talk to my other friend. That's not usually how friends function. That sounds a little sus to me.
All right,
It's called
Chris.
depression.
All right, the judge has spoken.
Judge has spoken.
Chris, judge is going to give you a little more rope, but reel it in. Let's get to your point there. And Gina, okay, you've heard from the judge now.
Right,
Speaking
fine.
of Chris,
Next.
it's time for you to tell us about your historical tale of the future. Chris, when you hear the gong, begin.
All right.
Here we go.
So we start in London, and the year is 1895. H.G. Wells publishes his first novel titled The Time Machine, and it becomes an overnight blockbuster. But using a time machine, let's jump back a little bit, shall we? We go to 1874 in Kent, England. 8-year-old Herbert George Wells suffers a broken leg, ends up bedridden. To pass the time, he reads local library books brought to him by his father, a professional cricket player. 10 years later, at 18, Wells earns a scholarship to the Normal School of Science, where he learned about physics, chemistry, astronomy, and biology. Thus was born the father of science fiction. So 1895, he did The Time Machine, right? 1896, he publishes The Island of Dr. Moreau. Bam! 1897, he publishes The Invisible Man. Bam! 1898, he publishes The War of the Worlds. Bam! You want future? How about laser beams, email, the World Wide Web, the end of daily journalism as historically we have known it? That's what this guy did back then. Suck that, Jules Verne. Bam!
Oh, there it is.
Shots fired?
Guess
Question
so.
mark? All right. I guess that was a very passionate tale there, Chris. Chelsea, what do you think of Chris's story so
I
far?
feel like, oh my gosh, he's just like, he started at a date and like it's called the future, but he went into the past and went back into the future, but not to where he started. I feel like he's trying to confuse us a little bit, and it's, yeah, it doesn't seem like a streamlined story to me.
Chris is trying to confuse us with his non-linear time travel crap. Gina, what do you think?
Well, I feel like he just said, "Oh, this is interesting. Let me see what his parent could be." And he looked up, what do people do in England? Oh, there's cricket over there. Oh, let's make him a professional cricket player. Oh, that sounds good. Okay, I'm going to keep it. Like stuff like that. But my question really becomes, if he had a broken leg and he knew how to do time travel, why didn't he go back and fix his leg? Just saying.
That's a good point.
Just
Yeah, thanks.
saying.
Yeah, I'm listening.
All right. Kimberly, you are impartial. You are unbiased. What do you think so far of either Chris's story or Gina and Chelsea's rebuttals, or all three?
I think Chris is very emotional on this topic, and it's very exciting and engaging to watch the storyteller. That also does, that might be a compensation technique for the fact that he's full of it. I also agree that the time jumps were a little confusing, and that felt a little like you were trying to throw us off track there. Why not go linear? Future, just jump forward.
Wow, there it is.
I
You
don't
lost
know.
your jury,
good.
Chris. You lost your jury. But enough about
Really noted.
Chris. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, by the way, if you're at home watching, you are welcome to comment throughout the show. And if we like your comment, we will post it right here at the bottom of the screen, right here, and you'll get to see your funny stuff. So feel free. Now, Chelsea,
Indeed.
it's your time in round one to tell us about your future topic from the past. You know
get
what,
her in there.
Adam? We're going to make that the gong. That's the gong now.
That's the gong now?
Transporter sound. So
Okay.
that's
All right, the
gong
transporter
going
sound.
forward for this
I'll do it
show.
again. I'll do it again. All right, well, we're gonna beam
Chelsea,
me
when
down.
you hear the transporter sound, you can go.
There it goes.
All right,
5
let's do
seconds on the
it.
clock. Begin.
All right, so music getting leaked ahead of its future release date isn't really that uncommon these days. But the question is, how do these leaks even happen? How do they start happening? So the most successful person who has ever leaked music, his name was Benny Glover, and he worked at the Polygram Compact Disc manufacturing plant in Kings Mountain, North Carolina. So his job was to package albums for some of the most well-known artists. And so, starting in the mid 90s is when he started leaking, and CDs at the time, they only cost $2 to manufacture. He was selling them for $18 a piece. Okay. So some of his stuff was even on Napster, but he's not the one who leaked this album.
Uh-oh. Are we listening to the beginning of how Columbia House was formed? We don't know, but we'll find out. Gina, what do you think of Chelsea's tale?
Well, she was talking about the future, or like not the future, but like how leaks happened, and I didn't believe her because I as a woman, my leaks happen when I sneeze or laugh, and I didn't hear that at all in her story, and I was just kind of like waiting for it because I really want to know how to prevent that, but it didn't work. So I think she's either bluffing or I think she's bluffing because it did not help. I was hoping for some information.
Nope, Chelsea's story not helpful to Gina's needs. Chris, what do you think? Do you have leakage issues?
Occasionally do have leakage issues, not necessarily the same cause, I presume, but
What do you think it is, Chris?
hay fever, sneezes. I'm intrigued because Polygram, we all know Polygram records, CDs. Back in the day when they first came out, they were very, very expensive. Leaks happen all the time. Competitive intelligence was a huge thing before the music business even came to be. So it's very plausible, her story so far. Dare I say, a little too plausible, perhaps. I don't know. I want to hear more.
Oh, Chris is right there. Chelsea has Chris right there, but he's not convinced just yet. Kim, as our impartial, unbiased judge, what say you?
I just have a hard time believing that the person responsible for all this huge financial loss was called Benny. Benny.
That's a good.
I'm not buying it. Benny. It's just, no.
Benny.
Maybe if he had help from the jet. Yeah.
Benny was in debt. Benny. All right. You know what
Then
that
it caused a
means?
leak.
Oh, boy. Wow. Let's get to round two as soon as frickin' possible. Adam, take us there and away from the leaks.
Here we go to round number 2.
All right, round two, where the points are double, but the points are 0, so that's 2 times 0, so that's nothing. Okay. Round two, every historian will now only have 60 seconds on the clock. That's right. We're knocking off 15 seconds. You only have 1 minute to continue your tale while we all still try to figure out who are telling the truth And who is the bluff? Audience at home, remember you can wild guess. Just don't Google search. But if you have some thoughts, if you have questions, by all means, post them, and we'll put them on the screen here. Chris, we're going to start with you in round 2, so you can continue your story of, I think, H.G. Wells.
That's correct.
When you hear the transporter sound, to begin.
All right. So you wanted to go linear, we'll go forward. We'll go forward in motion. We talk about H.G. Wells. How about he accurately predicted both lasers and what we now know as the atomic bomb? In War of the Worlds, Martians shoot what Wells called a heat ray. He actually coined the phrase heat ray. He also, by the way, coined the phrase time machine. A heat ray was a super weapon capable of incinerating humans with a noiseless flash of light. He wrote that at the turn of the century. This is more than 6 decades before Theodore Maiman fired up the first operational laser at California's Hughes Research Laboratory in May of 1960. How about email? In 1923, in his book Men Like Gods, Wells wrote, "People do not talk together on the telephone. A message is sent to the station where the recipient is, and there it waits until he chooses to tap his accumulated messages, and anyone wishes to repeat can be repeated. Then he talks back and dispatches other messages. The transmission is wireless."
Oh, it's wireless! It's wireless! All right, Chelsea, what do you think now? Are you convinced, or are you still skeptical?
It's feeling a little Nostradamus. Wouldn't this be a household name? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Is H.G. Wells some kind of psychic seer from the future? Is he the prognosticator of prognosticators? Is H.G. Wells the modern day Puxatawny Bill? I don't know. Gina, what do you think?
I think that is a tall order. Here's my theory on this. Okay, so if this man can, like, we could just say things. We could just say whatever we want. So, for example, one day we will be able to go from here to the moon in one day. And like it will be like a teleportation thing that doesn't exist yet, but it may. And so I think his story relies on the fact that this man wrote a bunch of stuff and then it happened. Let's just do it. Let's do it ourselves. And we'll be the future H.G. Wells. It'll happen.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right,
we can do
that didn't
that.
sound like doubt. It sounds like Gina might be on Team Chris here.
I mean, if this is how it works, I am. But I'm trying to learn things today, and I'm not sure if I am.
Oh boy.
Oh, she's
Kim, have you learned anything in the last 2 minutes?
Well, a lot of the references to H.G. Wells's novels actually sound really accurate. He was ahead of his time, except for the time machine thing that didn't happen. With a lot of
Or
like
is it?
sci-fi stuff. But a lot of it does sound really close to using the Simpsons logic of, remember that one time when the Simpsons predicted Donald Trump would be president? It happened. Remember when Titanic? That happened. It sounds like you're leaning a little too close to that Simpsons, making a connection that may not be there.
Oh boy. H.G. Wells.
Yeah.
H.G. Wells, the best writer the Simpsons never had. Oh boy, did he write about a monorail too? Is there a monorail story?
It's always the monorail.
Bookography.
It's always the monorail.
All right, Chelsea, it's your round 2 time to gather everyone around and see if you can round up some people to believe your story. When you hear the transporter sound, you will be round.
so when Benny, and yes, that was his real name, even though Benny like 2,000 albums ahead of their future release dates, today's story is about the leak of Dua Lipa's second album, Future Nostalgia. So she is an English Albanian pop star. She grew up obsessed with dance pop and electronic music. Her favorite genres to listen to when she was young inspired this disco pop album. And she called it Future Nostalgia because it was meant to describe a future of infinite possibilities while tapping into the sound and mood of some of the older music that she really did love. So her first single off the album, Don't Stop Now, was released on November 1st, 2019, and it peaked at number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100. Now, her album was slated to be released on April 3rd, 2020. However, because of the leak, it was moved backwards.
Okay.
March 27th.
Push back. Push back.
Achoo.
Uh-oh.
Did I say something? Sorry.
Chelsea.
Did I didn't go over
You
my
get a
time.
flag, Chelsea. You
Uh-oh.
have a
All
flag
right.
Oh,
right?
man, there it is. Yep.
Oh, boy. Hey, Dua Lipa has rules. I got rules,
Ooh,
too.
nice.
Don't go over the time
Wait.
that you are allotted to.
Rules.
Wow.
All right.
So throwing Dua Lipa. I didn't even know who that artist was.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed, Carlos.
Okay, thank
Well
you.
done,
I know
well
that.
done.
Yeah,
Carlos
he
gets.
knows.
That's good.
I know artists from the last couple of years that have been on SNL.
All right.
I know them. Gina, do you know Dua Lipa? Dua Lipa? Do you know?
Oh, hell yeah. He was the other half of Eighth of Base. So,
Eighth of Base.
Eighth. Is that like a fifth of Beethoven?
I saw the sign. I don't know. I don't know what this is. She could be throwing anything at us.
Oh.
Here's my thing. She was telling us all about the leaking of albums, and I just had a quick question. What's an album?
What?
Oh,
Oh.
Kind of
What?
thing.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry. Hold on. We need a judgment, Kim. We need a judgment on Gina's last statement. Is that do we object to that, or is that sustained?
I define album as collected release of music.
You know, do people know that now, though?
Format.
So if you go to a thrift
So-
store,
I think that's what you're going for. Yeah.
All right,
Right.
Gina.
Closet.
The smaller ones are there.
You got lucky. The judge is in your favor this time. You're lucky. All right. Chris, what do you think of Chelsea's tale?
Well, I think it's ironic that she judged me mercilessly for going backwards in time in a story about a future, and then she ends with the Dua Lipa album was released, was moved backwards to March 27th.
That's right.
I did catch.
it was leaked.
I did catch that the future nostalgia. I do kind of relate to that a little bit because I sometimes go through events in my life and I think to myself, this could be like future nostalgia, and I remember this, and I don't remember much, so I am always wrong.
This could be future
boy.
nostalgia.
I think she's wrong.
Oh boy.
Okay.
No
There you
sympathy
go.
from Chris. I find it odd that Dua Lipa's album was scheduled to release around the same time as the COVID outbreak. Coincidence?
What?
Or is
What?
Dua Lipa, or is there more than Dua Lipa than we know?
Oh,
Judge Kim,
no.
What do you
Stay
think?
tuned to find out.
Nice.
The leak thing with current artists is very much a thing. That's why Weird Al has pretty much stopped releasing his current parodies because he's like, I can't keep up at this point because someone's already one step ahead. So a lot of the Dua Lipa stuff sounds legit to me. I'm having a hard time connecting the part with the guy who leaked stuff on the CDs with the Dua Lipa part. It just kind of sounds like two different stories right now. So I'm going to hold my judgment until I feel like both of those intersect. That's
All right,
fair.
Chelsea.
Yeah. Okay.
Chelsea, the judge is giving you some rope, but you better reel that in.
No,
Okay.
Wonder Woman that up. Don't worry.
All right.
Throw it up. There we go. Okay, let's see who is left. I think Gina is left in round 2. So Gina, it is now your time to continue your tale of Sandy Greenberg. When you hear the transporter sound, you may begin.
When the old roommate showed up to the doorstep, he rang the door, and when Sandy opened the door, he said, "Hello, my old friend. And then the guy that was helping Sandy is none other than Art Garfunkel of the famous band Simon and Garfunkel. And the reason this is important is because this inspired the song Sound of Silence. Because every day when Paul Simon Art Garfunkel would take Sandy around, he'd lead him and sort of try to teach him things like how to go to the train station, things like that. And every time they would meet, Sandy would say, "Hello, darkness, my old friend." And if you remember the very beginning of that story, it starts with that exact phrase, "Hello, darkness, my old friend." Now, here's where it gets interesting. That actual phrase was written by Paul Simon because Paul liked to go into the bathroom, turn the lights off, and play music. That's how he started almost every song. So he started that song with "Hello, darkness, my old friend." But the whole point of the song was to talk about communication in silence. And I'll tell you more about how the story ends at the end.
Oh boy, you get a flag too, Gina. I can't give Chelsea
do?
a flag and not give you a flag. You went over just a little bit.
Oh, did
just
I?
A little bit. No point deduction, but a
That's
flag.
like nothing for me.
Now, Chelsea, Gina said, "I see your Dua Lipa, and I raise you an Art Garfunkel."
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of Gina trying to one-up you here?
I think Gina slipped because it was, Simon and Garfunkel, and it's like, it sounds like she's trying to keep her story straight. So, skeptical.
Oh boy, hello, bluffing my old friend. Chris, what do you think?
Exactly. And if she says that they used to walk around on Tuesdays, I'm like, come on, that's Tuesdays with Maury. Boom. Flag. Doubt. Bluff.
Oh man.
The crowd say Jesus crowd.
Yeah, it's topical for this show.
Still talking about her private.
All right, Kim, let's get judgy on Gina's story here. What do you think?
I think that the inspiration about going into the dark room, whatever, that's very familiar. So that aspect of things is ringing a little true for me. I don't know about the friendship thing. The rest of it actually sounds pretty accurate. Part of it sounds very accurate.
With respect to the darkness,
I like how it's the friendship that's friendship.
Friendship in doubt.
As we all know, artists don't make friends.
Well, that's true.
No, Simon and Garfunkel didn't last at all.
Oh, no.
That's funny. All right, that means it's time for the end of round 2. Adam, what does that mean? If round 2's done, then ...
Then we can only from here go to round number 3.
Speaking of ... we're now at our final 3 dots right over there.
Oh, it's true.
That's
it's
not
true.
someone typing a text. That's telling us how many more historians we have to go before it's time to figure out who's the bluffer and who are the truthers. Now, Chelsea, we're going to have you kick off round 3 and tell us the end of your tale of the CD leaks and the Dua Lipes and whatnot. If you throw in a Garfunkel in there, that's fine. That's up to you. You're but you only have 45 seconds to do so. So when you're beamed in, begin.
Okay, so the album leaks and Dua Lipa's team comes to her and they say, "Hey, TikTok's a huge thing. We want to target this young generation. They're doing all of their dances." You remember how it was in March 2020? We all were. So Dua Lipa agreed to do this to get some traction with the youngins, to get her music out there and promote it. However, with COVID not lasting 2 weeks like we all thought, she came back and said, "I can't do that. It's insensitive." So her album leaked and she was really upset, and they were like, "Oh, this happens all the time. We see this happening all the time. It's very normal." It was actually her team that leaked it behind her back and didn't give her a heads up to get a natural reaction from her.
Amazing.
Oh boy, some deception on Team Lipe. Oh, plausible deniability or just plausible liability? What do you think, Gina?
I think it's all plausible liability because I have to make accusations at this point in the game, I think. Anyway, if Dua Lipa owes any
If Dua Lipton, go ahead. Dua
Like,
Lipton.
the iced tea
In
maker,
relation
yeah.
to the Dalai Lama or
Baby
Sanjay Gupta.
Oh,
No,
God.
I don't know. She could be making any of this up because I really don't know who the artist is. I'm so sorry.
Ah, yeah, that's true. Wow, that's...
Finally, something true comes out.
I'm like red as hell too.
All right, Gina disarmed when it comes to Chelsea. Gina has no tools in her belt because she doesn't know if Dua Lipa is even a real thing.
Even
Chris,
exists.
Why did we bring a young person on the show? They know things I don't.
Well, one thing that they would know, and this show is called History Bluff, and we're talking about remember March 2020. You mean like remember March 2020? Yeah, I remember March 2020.
I was there.
She was only 8. She was
I was there,
And-
Gandalf.
like, oh, I'm 10 now. Like,
and then to find out that it was leaked by her own team, they wanted to get a natural reaction. I think 87% of artists, the natural reaction would have been, okay, you're all fired. So that part right there is that kind of the red flag for me. Like, oh, this could be a bluff because I don't know that a team would do that to their main artist and still keep their job. So I'm saying I'm skeptical, but I want to hear Gina's conclusion before I make my final decision.
oh boy, Chris is skeptical. Kimberly, as our judge, do you think that a Hollywood management team lie?
Oh,
Gasp, right?
For money?
there it is.
Managers have never done anything hanky, Elvis. But to Chris's point of, does anyone remember March 2020? Does anyone remember anything chronologically?
Yeah, in the last 3
the past 4 years?
No,
I don't
literally
know
no.
where we are in time. I have no idea. It's been 5 years, 5 months. I don't know. So
wow.
that-
Okay, I thought I was the only one who lost
Fair.
short-term memory.
No.
In COVID. Okay.
I have no
I'm like-
concept of time anymore. It's awful.
We call this a shared trauma.
yeah, exactly.
Moment of silence.
It's
Ah.
a share
Sharama.
trauma. It's share.
Sharama.
Let's
Sharama.
take that moment of
There you
silence.
That was it. That was your moment. Okay. Thank you very
Where I
much.
think it's a little suspicious is like Dua Lipa. We're talking about the youngins on TikTok. Dua Lipa is like what, 26? I
Huh.
and Gina, yes, Dua Lipa does exist. Her
I know,
name
it's
is
that
Dua.
thing that goes from your stomach to your intestines, I think.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah, yeah.
But,
I've seen the charts.
Yeah, that's the part that doesn't read to me. It's like, oh, the kid's on TikTok. Like, she is a kid who would be marketing on TikTok. She would be very aware of that.
Dua Lipa has an old
Mm.
soul. You don't understand. She has an old soul.
Oh,
She
yeah.
has a very, very mature voice.
Who else would make the
Beautiful.
rules?
Look this woman up. I'm telling you.
I know. See, we're learning
I'm not
things.
super familiar with like the names of her stuff, but the bits I've heard on old radio, I was just like, oh, she sounds like music you would skate to in the 70s,
Oh, there you go.
almost, but with like kind of a pop techno thing. I'm like, that's cool.
You know,
Hmm.
speaking of the
I
future,
really
maybe
like her.
Dua Lipa is a time traveler.
Oh,
Maybe she's in the 70s and like, let me just do this music today and I'm going to get
Yeah.
famous.
bold with the album
Maybe that's the
name.
twist.
Oh.
She leaks it back then. She goes back and then leaks it in the 70s.
Yeah, that's
Um,
what she told us.
In
straight up
Chris's
future
time
nostalgia.
traveling predicted device.
Yeah, H.G. Wells said it would happen.
Ah,
Yeah, that's
That's
why
the
it's
sounding
called the
conclusion.
time machine.
oh, there it is.
He gave it to a pop star. All right.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Speaking of nonsense, Gina, it's time for you to finish your tale of Sandy Greenberg and the blindness and Paul Art Garfunkel.
Okay.
Garfunkel.
Okay.
You have 45 seconds. You can begin when you are beamed in.
I thought he was going to do a boom. Okay, so now they are, so the final test, the final thing that Art Garfunkel did for Sandy was he said, okay, we're going to go back to Columbia now. They went to Grand Central Station to get on the train. And Art said, oh, I have to go make a phone call. The subway was kind of opening. And Art left him. He left him a blind man alone in Grand Central Station. Well, the blind man made it to his location, but Art Garfunkel had followed him the whole time. And at the turnstile, he went, hello. And he said, hello, darkness, my old friend. And then he explained what he had done. And this guy was like now on his own, very independent. They all went back to college. Art Garfunkel and Paul Simon formed a band. They needed some money to start up. Sandy gave them $400. And well, you all know the rest is history because Sandy helped Art, Art helped Sandy, and Simon and Garfunkel made the sound of silence.
Oh, negative 5 points for going over.
Oh, no. Oh, man.
Right.
5 times 0 is 0.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, 5 times 0 is 0. So I guess no points are changed.
Net 0.
All right.
Yeah, net 0.
I like how you yada yada the. By the way, Sandy Greenberg gave money to Art, Simon Garfunkel, and created the whole band. By the way, just so you know, in the last 2 seconds of your entire history story, Gina
Was the story.
Chris, what do you think about Gina's tale here?
Well, 2 things. One, first, they're a duo, not a band, okay? Secondly,
Who plays their backup music?
$400 back then, I just did some quick math, and that is about $223,000 worth of BS because that's a bluff. I'm declaring right now. I don't even have to hear any other discussion. I know where my vote is going, and that's all.
Wow.
You know, when you write a story, you weigh what you should and shouldn't put in, and now I'm starting to rethink.
Straight out bluff accusation there.
Chris lured you in and then bluffed you.
I know. You're a little harsh there, buddy.
Check out bluff. All right.
Yikes.
Chelsea, what do you think of Gina's tale here?
Again, I mean, there's some discrepancies here. First, he left him alone at the train station. Then he's following him. I'm like, did you leave him? Were you walking? What's happening?
He wanted
I
him to
think
think
he
so.
was the bluff.
It was a
I'm so
trick.
sorry.
He got stalked. Stalked by Garfunkel. He got Garfunkeled.
If you don't tell that story at his wake, I don't know what story you
I don't know, Gina. Garfunkel sounds like he pulled an Unbreakable, like what Bruce Willis did in that movie.
Garfunkel.
Just hung out in a station, letting blind people pass him as he sensed the wrongs they've done. All right. That might be too deep.
As long as they call him Darkness, that he doesn't care what happens. he insists that everybody calls him Dark. It's in his check writer.
All right, Kimberly.
man.
Other than Gina's ill-proportioned storytelling, where she compounds a huge major part of the story, like in the last few seconds, what do you think of the tale or the criticisms thereof?
I think truncating it was for dramatic purposes, so I'm not going to ding her for that. Yeah. Garfunkel left his friend alone. They don't communicate. What is going on with this friend? Like, they're good friends, but then they don't talk. But then he spies on him after he leaves him alone, which I hope.
No, it's like a final.
That's,
he taught him all the things, and that was his final. It was like a final exam. He taught him.
Was he Obi-Wan Kenobi?
I mean, if you see him in his videos and stuff, doesn't he have that calming presence? Like,
That's true.
You're
so
reaching.
that's not how Garfunkel is. But
oh boy, yeah, Art Garfunkel, stalker of the blind. Okay.
No.
No, it's not. Oh, I was gonna say it's not hard to do, but they hear everything. They hear everything.
Well, let's see if Chris's final tale is less creepy. Chris, you have 25 seconds to finish your tale. When you hear, when you're beamed in, begin.
So, H.G. Wells' most amazing and perhaps disturbing prognostication, the creation of the World Wide Web, and the resulting end of traditional journalism. On page 175 of his 1901 book, Anticipations on the Reactions of Mechanical and Scientific Progress upon Human Life and Thought, he wrote, and I quote, "There is every possibility of newspapers becoming at last papers of worldwide circulation, the identical matter that will appear almost simultaneously everywhere through long-distance electrical typesetting. Daily papers give place to hourly papers photographically displayed." H.G. Wells did have a time machine. After all, he printed all stuff and he requested on his epitaph, I told you so, you damn fools. Ah!
All right. If I'm not mistaken, I think Chris is saying that not only did H.G. Wells invent the internet, but he also actually had a time machine. Chelsea, what say you to this bold statement?
I was like, am I hearing this correct? Like, come on, Chris.
Perhaps.
You're gonna be the bluff, make it believable. I have like maybe a 1% maybe, but the throwing in the time machine at the end, like, you lost me. You lost me there.
I don't recall hearing a perhaps, Chris. Gina, did you hear a perhaps?
I heard a very emphatic thing on his epitaph, and that's what I do. If I'm telling a bluff, I will throw in a couple of quotes. And so, viewers, there's my trick.
Oh boy, Gina.
Any quotes from Garfunkel tonight?
Gina's showing her cards. She's
just a bluff over troubled water.
She's showing her cards and she's calling out Chris. Your Honorable, Your Honor, what do you think of Chris's tale here? Is he in violation of any of the rules of history?
Yeah.
Well, I think his time travel metaphor at the end was just a little hyperbolic and embellished, but I got what he was going for on that. That yeah, he's a dramatic fellow. But like, you are, Chris. You are. But the end of traditional journalism, we've had, even though it's electronic, we've had pretty straight up journalism since H.G. Wells pretty consistently, even if it's not on printed physical media. So I don't know if I can go there with that.
Overruled, Chris. Overruled. Okay. All right, everyone. I think, Adam, everyone has told their tales.
I believe so, because the round tracker tells me thus, Lee. All the stories have been told. All of our information is in.
So now what we're going to do now is we're going to go through everyone and then the judge. We're going to start with our historians. So this is your last chance, historians, to try to say who you think was the bluff. Now, if the bluff can convince no one to vote for them as the bluff, then they truly have won. So we'll see. Gina, who do you think the bluff is?
I think it's Chelsea, because I think that I don't know who Duodenum is, but I think that
it's
progressively worse.
so I feel like, but I am gonna look her up, and I do believe she exists. I do believe that part.
You know her
song.
But
I feel like the leaks nowadays, you just drop a single on Apple Music, and boom, your thing is leaked, and people are like, "Oh, that's intriguing." That's what I feel like. I don't know. So the story didn't vibe for me, and then the H.G. Wells story, I don't know. It's just fantastic. If it is a lie, though, Chris, I love the idea of using 10 words for that last name of his thing, the anticipation on the reach of the. That's what they did back then. So that was a good little, thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm going to go with Chelsea. That's my final answer.
All right. That's one vote for Chelsea as the bluff. Chris.
Gina.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Final answer. No calls. No phone a friend. Chris just says Gina is the bluffer. Sandy Greenberg is some BS.
It's intense.
Chelsea, what do you say?
I'm having I guess the time machine maybe didn't work. I'm going to go with that because I also think Gina's the bluff. Because when Kimberly said, "Oh, no, I actually do believe something you said," Gina literally cheered. Like, yay, they bought it.
Yeah,
Why would
good.
you cheer if you're not bluffing?
All right, so Gina, because Gina's a bad bluff, she is the bluff. And Chris's story had too much nonsense for Chelsea to think it was nonsense. So let's be clear, that is 2 votes for Gina, 1 vote for Chelsea, no votes for Chris.
Wow.
And Kim, Judge Kim, impartial, unbiased, no skin in this game, Judge Kim, who do you think is the bluff?
Well,
or final thoughts on all of them if you want.
Chelsea, I was originally kind of thrown off because it was just this random thing about a guy that leaked stuff back in the day, and then just all the Dua Lipa stuff. But managers pull those shenanigans. They absolutely do pull those shenanigans. You hear about it all the time. I've lived it. I believe that. That's why I think most of that stuff you said about I'm inclined to believe you about that one. So I don't think. Chris, wow, wild time. Of H.G. Wells, the scandal. But even though it was very elaborate, a lot of that rung true with me for what I know of H.G. Wells, of the lasers, and he did pseudo predict some stuff. I think that is legitimate. I think that's a literal. I think I've heard about that before. That you just kind of cemented. So that sounded very specific to me, and I'm inclined to believe it. If not, good job, you got me. Gina, almost. The story
Let's judge
about,
Kim, Gina. Judge Kim.
Yeah, the friendship, man, and you kept leaning into. And darkness, his old friend. And darkness, his old friend. But that's the darkness. Don't forget the darkness. And you're very, very passionate about that part. And I'm like, I don't think that's so. I think the stuff about him, like I said, writing on in the dark or whatever is true with how he got inspiration for lyrics. I think this dude's totally made up. I think he's totally made up. I don't think that happened. So I'm calling Gina.
All right. So we think Sandy Greenberg isn't
Right.
a person. Now, audience at home, it's your chance to vote too. Judge Kimberly is your advocate. You've heard her case for all three. You can go alongside her, or you can come up with your own things. Now, as we have it, let me do the little mental math on this. Gina has 3 votes of her as the bluff. So if Gina is not the bluff, then she may win. Based on my made-up system.
I like it.
Chris has
Sounds fair.
0 votes. So if Chris is the bluff,
Yep.
then he absolutely wins. Again,
yeah.
based on my made-up system. Now, if Chelsea is the bluff, she didn't win. But she tricked more people than not.
That's
She
true.
tricked one person.
That's
true.
Horseshoe. It's like horseshoes. It almost
Now,
counts here.
As we all know, none of us know who the bluff is, but Adam does.
That's right.
So, Adam, I need you now to reveal the bluff.
The time has come. I'm going to ask Carlos, our host, to step off of our virtual stage, and Judge Kim, would you please step off of our stage as we line up the perpetrators and to discover, finally, was your bluff Gina? Was your bluff Chris? Or could your bluff have been Chelsea? I will tell you now. I will reveal the bluff this whole time. It was Chelsea. That's right. There it is. Dua Lipa. Future nostalgia. Well done, Chelsea.
Thank you.
All right.
Almost got away scot-free.
So does this person really exist?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yay!
That was your music you were hearing right there.
I know it was good music, but I didn't
And he
know.
exists too.
Dua
Yeah.
Lipa was a person, but Chelsea made up some other stuff about Dua Lipa's life, and that's
Very nicely
how
done, because
she
you know you have.
fooled Gina. She fooled
Well done.
Gina.
Yeah, well
I
done.
told
That's-
everybody.
Yeah, you did.
Actually, you got it. I think Gina wins.
It's Gina.
I don't know. Gina did pick the wrong person. Gina's the... No, everyone picked the wrong person. You know what? I'm the winner.
I think the right
win.
person.
Yay!
Oh, he
I
can
won.
do that.
Oh, Carlos.
Yay, Carlos.
Once
Carlos
again,
can win his own.
I win
Okay.
every time on those. It's great.
You did.
Apparently, it's a
Oh,
game of
boy.
horseshoes.
Hey, Carlos, when you host, do you ever have opinions, like on who it is? Like, did you have opinions?
Oh, on this? I don't have to use that part of my brain when I'm hosting. That's why I turn that off. I think Kim was it for a while. Is she really a judge? I don't think so. I vote for Kim.
Hmm.
right.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming to another wonderful game of History Bluffs. Tune in next time when the topic is brand new and another bluff tries to fool us all. Mr. Announcer, take it away.
You got it, Carlos. This has been History Bluffs. You've been bluffed and you've learned some things. Join us. Follow us on YouTube, Twitch, and listen where you get your podcasts.